Tomorrow, historically here in Cherokee County, if you are your preferred party is a Democratic Party, tomorrow you have to make a choice. Do you want your voice to be heard in the sheriff's race, which there are no other candidates on in the sheriff's race, so this race will, for all intents and purposes, it will be over with tomorrow. The governor's race, the Congress races, they're looking for their nominee for the party, and they'll still have a right to vote in those races in November. So what we're encouraging folks here locally, and I've been contacted literally by hundreds of people that said, Sheriff, we want to vote for you, and we historically have voted in the Democratic Party. Tomorrow, they must choose. They must walk in and say, I want to vote in the Republican primary, or tell them that you want to vote in the sheriff's race. If you do that, you'll be allowed to have your voice heard in the sheriff's race. Come November, then you can go back and vote for a Democratic governor, Democratic congressman. You can pick and choose. You can vote straight ticket. You can do whatever you choose to do in November. But tomorrow, for the primary, you must choose which one that you want your voice to be heard in. Which one means the most to you? Is it the governor's race? Is it the sheriff's race? And so, you know, we've got a lot of people here in our community that have come to me already and said, Sheriff, we want our voice to be heard in this sheriff's race. And so we want to make sure that everybody understands that that's how they can vote tomorrow for the sheriff.
Okay, and why are you running again for sheriff?
I've been in office for 8 years. I've been in law enforcement for 28 years. And number one, I have a servant's heart. I want to continue serving this community. I want to continue to make a difference in this community. When we inherited the sheriff's office in 2011, there was a lot of distrust there. There was a lot of things that the public and law enforcement, they were not on the same sheet of music. And we feel like over the past 8 years, not only have we restored the trust of the public, but we brought honor, we brought professionalism and accountability back to the sheriff's office. And so I want to continue serving the people. And we're like every other community, we have a drug problem. We want to continue going after the drug dealers. We're locking up more than double the amount of drug offenders that they were locking up in 2010 before I took office, with the same number of officers. So they're working harder. Our crime has been down for 7 years in a row. Our violent crime, our burglaries and larcenies, those type of crimes have dropped significantly. The more we target those drug dealers, we've seen reductions in the areas of burglaries and larcenies. And we want to continue that. Plus, we want to continue to modernize the sheriff's office. In 2011, we had typewriters when I took over, and now we've got computers in the patrol cars, and we've got an automated records management system within the sheriff's office. We want to continue to build on that platform. We want to continue to embrace that technology to make us more efficient and better serve the citizens here in Cherokee County. And then ultimately, one of our big things we're pursuing in this next 4 years is we're working to make sure that we get SROs in all of our schools. We currently have SROs in our middle schools and high schools, but we want our children in elementary school to be protected. I have seen so many shootings around this country now that I'm not going to sit back and say it's never going to happen in Gaffney or it's never going to happen in Blacksburg. It could happen here any day, and we need to be prepared for it. And we're thankful at this stage. Our council has been very proactive, and we believe the school board will be proactive, and we'll see this come to fruition in the months and you know, years ahead, that we'll see this come to fruition. A parent should never drop their child off at school and wonder, is that the last I love you? And when you hear parents talk about that, and you see the fear in those parents' eyes, in their voice as they talk about it, and even the children, they go to school in fear. No kid in America should go to school in fear. And so we want to make sure that we put that first line of defense there with certified police officers. And we believe that that's something that we're very close to getting that implemented, and we want to continue working on that to see it come to fruition to make our county safer.
Why you in particular? What do you think you bring to the table into the sheriff's office?
Number one, the experience. You know, for 20 years I served as a state trooper. The past 8 I've served here as a sheriff. But I have the leadership and management style that's necessary to lead an organization of this size. It's different in being a supervisor and supervising 3 or 4 people. When you have to lead and manage 100+ employees, it takes some leadership ability and skills to do that. I've had the training through my years with the Highway Patrol, my ongoing training with the Sheriff's Association, schools through Texas A&M that I've attended, that allows me to enhance my own leadership abilities and to make our community safer. And you know, there's more than being a sheriff than just a title. You have to get out and work amongst the people. You know, we want to continue bringing diversity into our community. We started 7.5 years ago with only 1 minority. We've got 6 minority deputies today. We've got 10 at the detention center. So again, those are the things that we got to continue to work on as we've seen communities erupt in violence, after officer-involved incidents, you've got to have relationships in your community. And if you don't have relationships in your community, then we can expect to see things happen like we saw in Baltimore. And so we've put those relationships in place over the past 8 years. We've got relationships with our minority leaders, our minority pastors, and we want to continue to foster those relationships and address problems and issues that arise in our community, and make sure that we do it with accountability, and more importantly, that we do it with transparency.
How has the campaign trail been, and how have you been trying to get people to come out and vote for you?
It's, I tell people, you run for re-election every day as a sheriff, so this has been a 7.5-year journey, but specifically the past 10 weeks have been very tiring. Folks, are you stressed? I'm not stressed. I'm tired. I've been out till 9, 10 o'clock 6 days a week, and even the past 4 weeks I've had very little time off on Sundays. Still going and speaking at different churches and different groups, and so it's a tiring process, but it's also a process that it's something that if you want to be successful, you've got to get out and be engaged in the community. And what we know that we've been there for our community for the past 7.5 years, and they've got a chance to keep us in office and keep this sheriff's office moving forward when they go out and cast their vote tomorrow.
Going forward now, what do you want people to know? What do you want them to keep in mind when they go to the polls tomorrow?
Got a choice, real simple, and it's a choice they should not take lightly. I would encourage them to bathe that process in prayer, look at both candidates, and which one do you think is most suitable to continue leading this sheriff's office forward. And when you begin to look at the two candidates, I think it's very clear. We have the experience, we've got the record that we can continue moving the sheriff's office forward in a positive manner and continue to make a difference in this community.